What is up, everybody? This is James, and this is another attempt to record this video after the recording wasn't exactly the best at it. But anyway, the premise of this video is I want to go over some of the changes that are going to take place in Final Fantasy XIV tomorrow from the time of recording this video. Today, January 9th, is currently patch 6.28 in Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Tomorrow, January 10th, after a maintenance, will be patch 6.3 on January 10th. There's about 5 hours and some odd minutes to go until maintenance, and I kind of want to go over some of the changes that will be coming to the Paladin job, my go-to tank since I've been playing since Stormblood. Paladin's always been one of my good favorite tanks in the game, although it's definitely had some highs and lows and has needed a rework in the expansion despite its status as the poster job of the expansion. As you can see here, I am in the Paladin armor for the expansion with the Manderville weapon, a sword and shield. Undyed, and they match. Yeah, my Vieira looks good. So, anyway, that aside, this is how the spellbook actions and traits look like on Paladin right now. I'm not going to speak over it too much. Oh, the tooltips, you can read it yourself. I trust your judgment. And but I will go over some of the changes I could see coming as we get to the abilities. Right now, the state of Paladin is it really is kind of an outlier in the current Endwalker 2-minute meta, which is a concept I vehemently disagree with. In principle, I personally like it to where cooldowns across different jobs are different, spread out across different periods, and provides way more sustained damage over bursts and then downtime. You know, I like it better when it was more like Shadowbringers, like that, to where there's more individual stuff. Heck, I wouldn't even prefer if some offensive raid wipe cooldowns were removed altogether in favor of more utility, defensive, and healing plays, but that's an argument for another day. Speaking of, one of the cooldowns I could see them adjusting, either increase the cooldown or maybe to change the effect from physical damage dealt to all damage dealt, is fight or flight. As you can see, here's how it is now. Now, all of these are definitely going to be subject to maybe some significant change, maybe no change, come tomorrow. So I will definitely make a follow-up video on this if this one actually doesn't look as junky as the previous recording did. Now, I'm not going to also go over combos and how things work as well. You guys can look up the job guide on the Final Fantasy XIV website as well. I will link it in the video description for you to peruse, so we don't waste anyone's time. Now, on ability, I kind of am shocked still remains the Shield Bash as a global cooldown stun, given that all tanks have the low blow off global cooldown, obviously with a recast time, and this one obviously breaking melee combos. So, yeah, a little shocking. Tank stance, ranged and midi attack. The 3 in your 1, 2, 3 combo. Well, first, one of your main 2-minute cooldowns. The dot. Now we'll get to dots in a moment. Circle of Storm, but this is probably the one I don't think they'll change, since Gunbreaker has a couple of dots as well. Maybe 30-second off global. Obviously, don't see this changing. Now, when we get to Holy Sheltron, there's some stuff I could see them changing, as well as, well, now is a good time to talk about Oath Gauge, since Sheltron uses Oath Gauge. Now, currently, in 6.28, Oath Gauge generates by using auto attacks, which, actually, let me demonstrate now. As you can see, I'm generating Oath Gauge when I auto attack. However, when I'm out of range, or when I'm using stuff that isn't an auto attack, or when I have to actually auto attack and the range on it isn't that good, as you can see, I have to be right here. And that it's all it takes for me to generate the gauge I need to do something like this to Holy Sheltron. Not exactly a fan of that. This goes over the stuff. You can pause the video and shut me up if you want to read this yourself. There you go. And of course, cover being one of the other oath gauge costing cooldowns has definitely seen better days. We'll see if that ever changes again. Obviously, your big invuln, don't see that changing. Now, one of the changes that let's move that. Oh, come on. Let's do this. There. Goring Blade. This is the change I know we're going to have in patch 6.3. According to the live letter description, the dot from Goring Blade as well as the Blade of Valor ending of the Blade combo at level 90 is gone, is going away. And that is that for Goring Blade, it will instead be replaced with a free Holy Spirit. Now, it's hard to do this in 6.2.8 without popping Requiescat, but this is ideally what it should look like. Now, instead of the dot you see here, it will instead proc an effect that basically makes a free Holy Spirit, like this, for example. And right now as I applied my second dot, my Circle of Scorn, watch what happens to the Goring Blade dot. It instead gets overridden by Blade of Valor. Now I'm going to get ahead of myself here and state that Blade of Valor and Goring Blade obviously do not have the same. Obviously the dots overlap. They override each other. This is also probably getting changed where the dot is getting removed, but the potency for both Goring Blade and Blade of Valor, according to the live letter, would be adjusted to compensate. And then while we're here, we've got, Blade of Truth. The spawn from Confiteor, Confidior, they're all subject to significant change. Now, another cooldown I could see them definitely changing right now. I will be shocked if this doesn't get changed, is Divine Veil. Because right now to use it, you have to pretty much get healed one way or another. Even casting Holy Spirit or Clemency will do this, or your Blade combo. But you don't benefit from the shield you give everyone else, which is 10% of your maximum HP, which also restores your health, or their health. It's like, nah. I would like it to where if it got changed, it should probably be like an AoE, like a Shake It Off for Warrior, except it doesn't any other cooldowns. It doesn't eat your Holy Sheltron, and could instead just be the barrier as well as the high heal over time, maybe. Maybe a barrier with a regen. That would be awesome. A 90-second cooldown. That's nice. A barrier with a regen. A barrier based on 10% of your max HP that you and your party benefit from. As well as, like I said, like a regen, like instead of it being a 400 cure potency, maybe the regen could be about akin to like a Gunbreaker's Aurora and last, for the same duration as the barrier. Like about a 20-30 second heal over time regen, maybe. I don't know. Clemency probably could change. I mean, if they do that to Divine Veil, they could have just Clemency as well as Holy Spirit and Holy Circles, a heal to compensate. Royal Authority, being able to use Atonement afterward. I don't know if that'll change or not. Intervention being the targeted version of Holy Sheltron. We'll see if these two change. But actually, they will, because in the live letter, they did say... Oh, this again. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm using the poster to hide my chat, for the sake of fairness. Anyway, Holy Sheltron will get changed to where it'll do better against bleed damage by, I guess, increasing the damage... reducing damage taken, as well as including damage over time effects, as well as the heal over time, being able to block more things. Because I know in the past you used to not be able to block spells, but of course now you can for the sake of fairness. So got a little itch in my throat. I'm sorry about that, but I can see that changing in 6.3 to where it'll also hopefully be better than it was now. I could definitely see them, again, changing Requiescat to fit the 2-minute window meta. They're so adamant about it, even though I disagree with it, but it is what it is. 7.0 is a different ballgame, the next expansion, so we'll come back to that argument later. Passive arms still will probably not change much. Maybe I could see it maybe reword it to where they only take 15% less damage. Because it's worded weird, because it's 15% damage reduction. As in, you know, you take 15% less damage. That should be reworded, maybe buffed as well, to where you take 20% less damage. Be more consistent that way. Yeah. Potencies on these are definitely subject to change, so I'm not going to spend too much time on these. You guys can read these for yourself. Obviously, restoring MP is one thing I don't change. I really wish that they would make Intervene, the Gap Closer, more readily available at lower levels, especially towards the later, like maybe post A Realm Reborn into Heaven's Word levels at earliest, and by level 60 at latest, because Dark Knight Plunge, you know, the Warrior has their charge, Gunbreaker's got their Rough Divide. Yeah, there's definitely an inconsistency. I could see them changing and maybe move another ability a level 74 to compensate. Or maybe just a trait that gives Intervene a second charge. I don't know. Because traits are going to be subjective. Obviously, Tank Mastery is not changing. Now, what I wouldn't mind seeing with Oath Mastery, with Oath Gauge generation, if they do change it personally, is, this is getting into speculation part of the video, is maybe it could change to where it is generated after using your, like your combos, like your 1, 2, 3 single target, or your Total Eclipse, Prominence, and AoE. Kind of like how Warrior does with theirs, with their Overpower Mithril Tempest combo for AoE, although they didn't get that until a trait later, which was fine, I guess. And we are getting an ability back called Bulwark, which that Paladin lost in Stormblood, and to my knowledge, it was basically, it increases how much you blocked when you did block. It was like your block amount, and I don't know if it increased your block chance outside of Passage of Arms, but somebody correct me on that. But I did hear that in the live letter that they are bringing it back as a rework thing, so maybe that could be used to generate Oath Gauge as well as reduce damage taken, maybe use that as your downtime tool while reducing damage taken during an ultimate attack from a boss, one of the boss's ults. I mean, that could be possible, but again, all this stuff is subject to significant change, and I could be completely wrong by the time, you know, 6.3 is live. Anyway, I am rambling at this point. Just gonna get rid of my gauge so my OCD doesn't get the best of me for the rest of this video, and the rest of the video is right now. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I will get this uploaded to the YouTubes at some point and look back on this. I will have a follow-up video detailing what's changed to 6.3 compared to 6.28, and again I will have a link in the description to detail what's changing in the patch. Anyway, I'm losing my words. Take care, everyone.